Hey everyone, I was hoping to get this message put together sooner, but things like this unfortunately take time to set up. I just want to say that the acts of war against Ukraine break my heart, and I know as a prior service member myself that my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who's fighting the fight that they really shouldn't have to. That being said, we have been working behind the scenes with all of our podcasts and podcast partners to put a fund together in order to pay for any refugee housing and other needs that go alongside that, like food, water, and any clothing needs. Internally, many podcasts in the Hospitality FM network have voluntarily given up sponsorship money in order to donate to the cause and are working on a unified message in order to spread throughout all of our podcasts. So this is me calling out to all of our property manager friends, industry experts, and anyone knowing of those providing lodging for Ukrainian refugees seeking safety. You can contact me directly at will with one L, W-I-L, at slicktalkmedia.com. We have an internal document that is being updated in real time. So if anyone could share this message within your network, we'd greatly appreciate it. I'm also placing in the show notes a link to our GoFundMe and landing page for Rentals to Rescue. That's rentalstorescue.com, where we're putting funds together in order to, again, provide finances for any of these lodging and relocation needs. So thank you so much for tuning into this quick message. I hope you guys are all well and safe, as I know we have tons of listeners in Ukraine and other countries in Europe. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's going
You look
on?
older,
Birthday boy.
Birthday?
Yeah, it was a birthday. Plus, we got a new intro song and a new intro video. So I think we're off to a great start this beautiful Monday morning. Yeah.
So happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, 26. Nothing really exciting about that other than one more year closer to 30, I guess. So we're creeping on up.
Come on, 30 is a new 20. Come on.
I think 26 was my best year.
All right.
I
Well,
don't even remember. So imagine.
It's so long ago for you, though, Mike.
I mean, come on, I'm the senior of this one. Old one.
Yeah, it was a good weekend though. Plus, we can hear Michael Golden a lot better now. We got official microphones. You know, life. We're just moving on up. I think that's the new thing for Good Morning Hospitality. We're just gonna continue to move up from here. You know, nothing better.
New mic, the intro. Look at us. Imagine.
I know.
And a very special congratulations to the other Michael on this call.
I wish I had an applause. We have an applause sound.
You could have one like those buttons, like on the it would be fun.
No, yeah, congratulations.
So what? Tell me. Tell the listeners.
Well, I was gonna say. So I was gonna ask you to tell us what's the award.
Okay. Yeah. No, I won actually, I heard it today. So I won the award for best global travel founder of the world. So actually, the USA Quota was one of the largest conferences in Europe. Actually, they had a voting. And actually, I won with 1,754 votes, if I'm correct. Number 2 had 500 something. So actually, there was no competition, looks like. So that was nice. I was super surprised with this award. So it's a personal one. So no, it was nice. But I think it's all because of our listeners and because of you. And I think that's the reason I won that one.
Yeah, it's because you're on with the Joe Rogan of hospitality over here. So it's kind of a big deal, you know.
Come on, since I joined the podcast last year, I didn't win. Now I just do some podcasts with you guys, and then I win. So I think there must be some influence there.
There's got to be.
Must be.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's been we're off to a great start this week. I gotta say, I think all three of us are feeling a little up. And just for the listeners that are watching, boom! Look at that, beautiful. Can't believe it.
Dutchman around.
Yeah. It's just
last year I won an award there as well, but the complete different was a startup award actually, and I never won many personal awards. So actually, this was also nice to have a personal award once. Of course, always team effort, but it was nice. Yeah. So
congratulations to the big room.
Yeah, well
to the
done,
team.
guys.
Awesome. Well, I think this is a great segue. Do we want to do the bid eruption report? Or do we want to get what's with the noise? I'm kind of feeling a little spicy. Let's mix it up a little bit. Start off with what's with the noise.
Let's do it. Let's
All right.
Grandma.
All right. Say hi to Grandma.
Always good to see Grandma on a Monday morning. So a trend that we identified in December as being a potentially large one for 2021 was regulations, and Scotland coming in hot early in the year by putting a tight squeeze on short-term rentals nationwide while they're still shut down during a pandemic. Seems like a challenging time to move forward with restrictive regulation, but that didn't stop Scotland, and there's a lot of other cities that have some pretty restrictive bills in front of their legislative bodies right now. So if you haven't started engaging in advocacy for your city, for your company, for your homeowners, certainly look to your local associations, look to Rent Responsibly, and get involved, because otherwise, Scotland was pretty organized in terms of their short-term rental community, and ultimately it still didn't hold back the restrictions that came forth. All in all, it's not a ban. They are still capable of renting out. But from a national level, it's a lot harder to restrict the needs of every local market. So Edinburgh is going to be quite different than a countryside town up in the Highlands. So ultimately, moral of the story is this is the first of many dominoes, I think, to fall this year. But the more active we get as a community, as an industry, the more likely we are to stop outcomes like this one.
Yeah, this week I've got an amazing startup, actually. It's founded by Martijn Mulder, fellow Dutch guy, who lives for a long time already in London. He worked for W as well, and actually he saw a lot of potential actually in the hospitality space to do something actually in return for people who works there. So he founded Tip Hospitality. So have a look at tiphospitality.com. And what they do, they give actually benefits to people who work in hospitality. So if you want to get it, go for a night out, go for a drink, and you work in hospitality, you get extra discount, extra perks if you go into one of the places which are on the platform. I heard they're growing really quickly. They just launched recently, but there's a lot of potential there. So if you work in hospitality, want to become a member, I recommend you to sign up. If you have a venue, check them out as well. But I had some chat with Martijn. I really like what they're doing. Actually, they are disrupting actually the industry. If you're looking at what you can do, so instead of when a place is empty, when the restaurant is empty during the day or a bar, etc., why not getting people from the industry there and give them some extra perks or extra discount and make sure you just generate some extra revenue. They're also going to include much more benefits soon as well in different perks. So again, the start of the week, congrats to be here, is Tip Hospitality. Check them out and follow them, because I get the feeling they're going to become really big. When you're looking at the events or anything else that's coming up, well, I just mentioned already the prize which we won. There was a Crota Award for founders. So, of course, super proud to win this award. Also, thanks to Adnan, I want to thank him. He's our representative in Turkey. He has a large network, so I think it brought some votes as well. And there were great people also selected. So, congrats for the other 10 finalists who were there. But I won, and that's the most important. We're also number 2 of startup. Unfortunately, with only 28 votes difference, we became 2nd. Otherwise, we become 1st. But again, I'm super proud of what the team achieved, and let's get some more awards coming year. And I think it's good to go back to the other guys.
Right on. No, that's great. We've so got Good. What's with the noise? We got good disruption, and now I guess the
Well,
real top. Go
Before we
ahead.
move in, I like this tip hospitality. It's always been when I'm traveling, especially alone into new cities. I love to sit at the bar and get to know the bartender because the bartender knows all of the good
Correct.
spots.
Mm-hmm.
So pick a trendy bar, get to know them, and sometimes cool things happen. Last time I was in Amsterdam, I was at a really, really cool cocktail bar. Got to chat with the bartender, and he's like, yeah, go to this other bar. It's like 10 blocks down the road. He makes a drink, gives it to me to go to give to the bartender at that bar. And apparently the bartenders just will do that and send business to one another and makes a fun little game out of it. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's amazing building this community of hospitality people, right? So if you work in the bar, you want to go somewhere else for a drink. If you're helping each other in this industry, especially when recovery is needed, I think it's great. And if you look also in the UX, the way the app is working, Martijn showed me a preview and how it looks like. It's really super to use. So I think it's a lot of potential. Again, I think people working in hospitality would be great if you can download. Maybe once we get Martijn to show, you can tell more about it. But again, I think it's super cool that they are developing something like this, helping the industry. I think also it would be great that everybody who works in hospitality kind of just push and promote the hospitality industry because they all need it. And the initiatives like this, I think they're more than welcome. And again, congrats to be on this week.
Yeah.
And again, if we go for business travel again, of course, when we go somewhere, it will be useful to use it. I know they're going to start in London, but imagine I go often for business travel in London. So for sure we use it, but I think we can talk more about business travel then.
Well, I was going to say, when you're on a business travel, like if for people like us who are hospitality people that travel for business every now and then, we get to just download Tip, and whenever city we're in making some deals or negotiations, we get to see the local community and help in ways that we can, and just different ways by just going to like the cool attractions that people are in. So I think that's a great resource and great startup. And so, yeah, I was going to say, speaking of business travel, we're talking about the importance of it. And a big theme for the show is we've been talking about flexibility, how hotels have been going into co-working and all these other things. But does that mean business travel is no longer going to exist? Are people no longer going to do the conventions and the other business trips and maybe go visit some clients or accounts and whatever in whatever cities or countries they're in? So I want your guys' thoughts. So do you think this is, let's start off with that, kind of like that question of, do you think this is something that won't return in the sense what we saw in 2019? And then if yes or no, what do you think is going to happen with the current travel segment of business?
So I'll start by telling a story that happened last week. There's a deal I've been working on for quite some time. We've verbally been in agreement since probably December or so, but I wanted to go finalize it in person in December, but we had a no company travel for the whole month. January, similar. But last week I finally got out, got to see this individual in person, had some drinks, had some dinner, and sure enough, the next day the contract is in my inbox. And it's amazing how just a simple thing that we used to take for granted, getting out and seeing somebody and taking them to dinner, all of a sudden just sparks an action, right? And I think if as soon as one company in an industry starts doing it, their competitors are going to have to. And I don't think we're too far off from business travel coming back. Now it's going to be up to the individuals, and it might favor younger companies that have younger individuals that are more comfortable traveling than the larger, older companies. But in the end, I think it's ultimately it's going to come back. And in fact, it might come back even bigger because everyone's going to be living remotely and working remotely. And you might have to travel more frequently to gather your teams together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's good. see that people are more flexible with employees and say, okay, first you want them all in the office. Now it doesn't matter, but sometimes you need them in the office. So indeed, your own employees, they might not travel for business. And well, it's the same. But like we speaking to some partners, maybe I had like calls with them the last half year, maybe 20, 25 video calls. Eventually, it will be nice indeed just to meet them in person once, right? To just take them for dinner or something to discuss it. And that's a difficulty in the video calls. Of course, when you meet someone in person, it's of course it's related to the business and everything, but also you can have a personal chat. It's still different when you're speaking on behind your screen, right? And people are getting crazy sometimes behind the screens, and more now. And you can see it even though with my daughter's homeschooling, whole day behind the screen before you could really meet people. And now even I just went last week back to the office just to see real people. And even though, of course, they're not recommending this, I think we're also tired. So I think business travel will come back. I think there will be even like as soon people feel a bit safe, just want to get out. They just want to even maybe actually do the extra in the beginning just to get back what they were missing for the last year. Eventually, if I think the long term, yes, of course, it will be less than before. Because now when you speak to somebody, just do a video chat, and before it was, no, it's always the case. Person must be. So it will be reduced, but I think it will be different. What Michael said, different business travel. You will have more people working for you remotely, and then you need them in the office. So instead of visiting your clients or your customers, it's more visiting your colleagues. So this will change a bit.
Yeah, it's a whole additional segment that didn't exist, right? Like gathering the teams together frequently, because almost every company is going to be remote in some capacity. So you'll have the normal sales, biz dev, account management, travel, but now you're going to layer on corporate travel, which I think can play to both benefits of hotels and short-term rentals, depending on lengths of stay and all of that. I stayed in a guild property and it was great. I had the access code or access sent to my phone. I used it on the elevator. I used it to get in my room. No check-in, super seamless. And what was really cool was there were actually keys, like key cards in the room when I got there. So I didn't have to use my phone every time. I just needed to use it to get in. So I hadn't thought about that approach, but I really do like the seamless start to finish, easy access.
Yeah, well, I saw Accor was promoting a few days ago. I saw some posts of Accor when they're really promoting the room keys on your phone, right? So again, so you see the brands now pushing it more and more and more. I think it's, of course, those things helping a bit in recovery or feeling safer, right? So I think they do everything to make you feel safe. I think flights is still the most difficult part, right? I think we all feel okay to go to a hotel, should be okay, but still, flight is for most people still a bit scary, right? So just to be a few hours in a plane, you don't know who's sitting in front of you and back. It's pretty close, right? The people are next to you. So I think that might be still the case, but I think the hotels, I think we're all fine. And you see in many places, hotels are still closed or limited. I think they should be reopened, hopefully be reopened soon, but I think still the flights will be the impact.
I think, personally, I think flights, especially Delta, shout out Delta, does a good job of making it feel clean and comfortable and all of that. Like, so obviously, they're still blocking all the middle seats. For me, the questionable sanitation was in Ubers. I saw someone get out of the Uber I was about to get in, and then getting in right behind them. Like, in an airline, they wipe it down and they fog it out and all of that, but that's not happening in an Uber. So that was more worrying to me than an airline for some reason.
Well, for me, what I'm thinking about is that it kind of goes back to that flexibility trend where people are doing a lot of online meetings right now and remote work, but there's a time for those. Like, you know how those, like that joke of this big company meeting could have just been an email. Well, it's like there's that thing of like, okay, picking up when is it good to do like a Zoom, or when is it good to actually like get everyone in person and start doing that. And it's going to be finding that balance. And so on Clubhouse, we've all been kind of talking behind the scenes about this new app and social media platform called Clubhouse, but we've been in a couple of rooms, and shout out to Chris and Kyle if they watch this or listen to it later. But they're talking about humanizing hotels And I think when you come to the business side of things, the business travel, and what you were talking about, Michael Golden, with that interaction that you had, that just took a little bit of in person to get that deal signed and going, is that we're still humans. We're still, like, in hospitality, we still do require that some of that face-to-face action. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to have to like consistently remember, because like I said, so often we can just get so caught up in doing a Zoom, but sometimes maybe a client or a colleague or whatever needs to just relax and not have to worry about all the computer. There's so many distractions going behind the scene too. We have WhatsApp going off. We have, iMessages and emails and all this other stuff that I think the in-person stuff is still going to be key.
Well, and what takes months on calls and back and forths and, okay, great, I'll get an answer to you by the end of the week. And then there's a negotiation, and then you're looping it back around. All this stuff could have very easily been, hey, let me spend half a day in your office. Let's go to dinner and we'll hash it all out. Like, when you do that, now your deal cycle has gone from 3 or 4 months down to however long it takes you to get a flight booked and get out and have some time together. Like, it speeds everything up. And I don't know about you guys, but like, my workload is exponentially higher than it was this time last year.
Yeah.
But I think a large part of that is because it's taking so long to get everything done, because nothing is being done in person. And having collaboration internally and collaboration with partners is way easier, way better in person. And I don't think that can be
still in sales. I think still in sales or partnerships, it's I think 90% of the deal is related to the people, right? They trust the people, they want to see their face, and still behind the screen, it's still different. Even though, of course, it's more personal than a phone call, it's still, there's a distance. And I think when you can meet somebody real in the eyes and indeed meet them for a dinner and just have a chat also just about the weather or different stuff than just about, do you hear me? No, I don't hear you. Can you try it again? This is like how 90% of the calls will start, right? It's different. And I think we all missing this, really, like this people next to you and then sitting on the opposite of the table instead of looking at the screen. So I think also for deals, and I was in the past also in quite a lot of in sales, and of course, and when you're running a company, you have to deal with the invest with everything. So it's also related to sales. It's so different when you can look somebody in the eyes and tell them what you think and how they should do it or whatever. And still on the screen, it's different, right?
And investors invest more, especially in an earlier stage. They invest more in the founders than they do in the product.
It's always on the founder price, so maybe it helps a bit now in new rounds. But no, but it's true. It's the investing in the people, and that's so important. Yeah. And it's still, do you really trust somebody if you never saw them in real life? Both of you, we have this. For how long are we doing this podcast? We're doing it now for
a couple months.
And we never met in person.
I've met Mike. Oh no, I never actually met Michael in person.
No, it's still different, right? And we're all looking forward. We just said so many times after the recording that would be great to grab a beer once, whatever, or in here or in there, because it will be fun.
How tall are you, Michael?
How tall?
Yeah,
216.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Are you 200?
No, I'm 187 centimeters.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm taller than you then. Yeah, you look like a giant in your awards presentation, but
I know.
Yeah, I got 190.
You just don't know even I'm talking, but that's like if you read people in person, you can have a normal chat about different stuff. And I have people, I work with them for like a year or longer, and it's like I was last week in the office. I saw an employee. I said, "Hi, you're new." So no, I've worked here for 7 months. So I felt really bad actually. Yeah, somebody changed their haircut, but you just don't meet the people anymore. You just don't see them walking around the office, and some people and whatever in the product team, I don't speak to them every day, right? You're just speaking to mid management, and you don't speak to everybody. So if you don't see them, you don't always know who they are. So and that's what I really miss, right? And the same if you can go even with colleagues or just meeting one of your partners or just to have a personal chat. And you can see the same with process takes really long now when you're just discussing a partnership, like another one and another call, and it's all like fake. Okay, next week at 6:30 we're going to do a follow-up, and it's half an hour because there's a different call scheduled. If you travel, it's okay. I just block for a few hours. We can go for lunch. It's so different. And I really, this is, I think, the one I just miss so badly, right? Just to even business travel, just to have this personal chat and come home, be back in the flight, like, wow, that was a great meeting. And now after a call, just next, you just go nonstop.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, when 9/11 happened, and I was in middle school, and Will, you were probably maybe not even in elementary school.
I was in elementary. I remember.
But everyone, was saying business travel has changed forever. And it did. There's more friction getting into the airport, which is good. It's makes everyone feel better, feel safer. Maybe the same happens with this. Now airplanes become like fully sanitized between every turn, and filtration systems become better. I hope we don't have to wear masks on every flight. A short flight is fine, but intercontinental or overseas is going to be quite challenging. But I don't think business travel has fundamentally changed. I think it's paused. I think it's going to look a little bit differently, but I don't think it's going to be 4 years before we get back to full-on travel like we were previously. I think we'll be much sooner than that.
Well, I think a few episodes ago I mentioned troop travel. I don't even remember the guys who just said we're using a lot of algorithms data from our employees, where they're living, and the end they recommending the perfect location to meet. So often it's not even the location where most of the employees are located, but they're taking all the information about the CO2, about the pricing, about everything. Is okay, even though your team is in like a different place all over the world, we recommend you to meet all of you in whatever, in Ireland, together with Micro G. Well, it could be this makes more convenience, looking at the flight information, looking at the convenience, look at the pricing, even though you might not even have employees there. So you will be also new technologies, like the guys of Troop Travels, okay, just meeting somewhere else, not even in the headquarters, because you can see many companies, right, especially in tech, they say, okay, we're just hiring now people outside our city or our country, because it's easy to work remotely. But in the end, you want to meet them in person, you want to know who's your team. So I think, and that's what we said, you will have different kind of business travel. Meetings might be less, but I think visiting your colleagues in different places, this will, I think, could increase. So I think there's the challenge, or the possibilities there.
Yeah, I know we just got into 2021, but I'm hoping by 2022, we'll all be maybe be able to have that beer in person. And
that's happening this fall.
You think it's happening this fall or no?
Later.
I'm going to make it happen this fall. I'm coming to Krakow, Michael.
Then we got to use a troop travel to see where we should meet. Maybe not in here, or maybe not in there. We're just meeting up somewhere in Africa. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they recommend this.
But sometimes you just want to go somewhere specific, and in this case, Krakow sounds quite nice.
Always welcome.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I guess that's it for the episode. The business travel is still important. It's going to come back. And for all our viewers right now, you heard it. So give us your thoughts. We'd love to know your opinion, and we'll see you guys again next week.